Hey guys, today we are going to share some of the property life lessons by Ryan Serhant. And if you don't know who he is,
you can Google him. Okay, Ryan is basically one of the biggest icons today in the real estate industry in America. So he started out from a very humble beginning, only the first year only doing like $9,000 in sales, subsequently really climbed up the ladder. As of today, his brokerage firm is actually doing over 1 billion unit sales per year.
So it's very important to get a wider perspective in terms of property investments and especially from all around the world. So let's watch what Ryan Serhant says.
The life lessons in property I learned the hard way. Do not bite off more than you can chew.
So the first point is do not bite off more than you can chew. And I totally agree with that. The whole point is that when we are buying properties, we want to make sure that we can hold on to the properties in good times and bad times.
Yeah, I think when we hear all the horror stories about property investment and we keep hearing about people going bankrupt after investing so many, and of course when a crisis hits, right, they are unable to pay their mortgage. So I think this is the main thing that Ryan's talking about in terms of so-called biting more than what you can chew. Because the moment you're unable to service the mortgage continuously in times of crisis, that is when you really get into really big trouble.
My take is that when it comes to property investments, it's important to hold 6 months up to 12 months of monthly installments so that we can tide through both good times and bad times.
If a deal looks great or too good to be true, sometimes it is too good to be true.
I think ultimately, if I find a deal that is too good to be true, I will actually be very happy because that is the potential. But I still have to get a very good lawyer to help me do the due diligence.
So be skeptical, don't be scared, do your proper due diligence, get a good lawyer and grab that opportunity.
By the way, if you're learning something from this video, do remember to subscribe to our channel and also give us a thumbs up.
And sometimes it's okay to pay a little bit more for a property that you won't have to care for as much.
Ryan Serhant says that it's okay to pay a little bit more. My take is that I'd rather be going in with the mindset that I want something that is cheap and good. Because if my mind compromises, that means like I'm okay to pay something for a better quality, then what will happen is that I will always be paying higher, and I don't want that.
But actually the key thing that he really talked about is time. So I think a lot of people do not really value time as much. So I'll give you an example. So if to find cheap and good property, obviously the number of deals out there in the market is going to be very few, which means that you just need more time to find this deal. Whereas of course to find those fair market value kind of units, of course there will be more of these such deals available in the market, and therefore it saves you time to acquire this. So the key is this, is that when we're first starting out, sometimes our time is better off traded to actually find these particular undervalued deals, these cheap and very good properties. But as we scale up our property investment journey and where time becomes more valuable because you already have several properties generating income, right? Therefore, the time now becomes more valuable. And in cases like this, if you to find these cheap and good deals all the time, you're just going to waste too much time to just make the additional, even let's say $5,000 or $10,000. So you'd rather just pay the market value, buy a property that's a good location, a good place, and then of course just scale up and purchase it.
Actually, I think there's a very simple and elegant solution for you, Sean.
What?
Buy a more expensive and bigger properties.
Well, what do you mean?
Basically, if you're buying a 500k property and you have 10% undervalue, it's 50,000. If 50,000 is not worth your time, right? Then buy a $5 million property instead. Then if it's 10% undervalue for $5 million, then it's 500k.
Yes, but that will also increase the risk exposure of the property, right? If that one unit don't rent out, then your mortgage is also going to be like crazily a lot because it's $5 million, right? Then how do you deal with it?
If I have multiple 5 million properties, I mean, if it's a bigger
so
property,
so
bigger game.
it's because you have a lot of resources, man. That's why you can do something like that.
Okay, I think there's a suitable plan for everyone at different stages.
And when all else fails, try to buy property that you could see yourself living in.
Buying properties that you can see yourself living in. My take is that if I'm buying like 10 properties, then I cannot be expected to stay in all of them, right? I think the more important thing is actually to buy properties that others will be staying in or will want to stay in.
But actually, I can totally relate to what Ryan is saying because you see, I started out from very little, right? And it's very challenging sometimes to see myself owning like 5 or 10 properties. And therefore, just understanding that even buying that first unit, that my end result, my worst case scenario is to stay in it and be happy. That actually gives me a lot of confidence to then start investing. And I think that what he really means. So of course not suitable for people who owns 10 property lah.
Okay lah, I think what you're talking about is the worst case scenario. If you're okay with the worst case scenario, then everything is okay.
Yeah, and once you actually overcome this so-called worst case scenario and it's rented out, and then that's when you gain experience, and then this is where you can scale up your second unit, third unit, and fourth unit.
So guys, I hope you have managed to get valuable insights from this sharing.
Yeah, in fact, we have learned so much from Ryan. Why don't you actually share in terms of just one thing that you have learned from Ryan himself as well?
And we hope to see you soon. Bye!